Antonio talks. Violence isn't the answer. Well, that's what we about to find out. Make sure you like, sub to the channel. Let's not waste no time. Let's get to this video.
So we've all heard the phrase, violence isn't the answer. I feel indifferent about this quote because although it is true in some instances, if you take a look back through history, it says otherwise. We see this with examples of how religion was spread, colonization, the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution, slave rebellions, wars. Anytime power was gained or freedom was gained, violence was the answer. Sad to say, but if you're not hurting these folks' money or someone is not losing their life, nothing is going to happen. So this tweet says, these black men in South Carolina in the 1960s, they took on white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan. This is a photo of these brothers, man. And
this might have been, I don't know if they're going to talk about it, but this might have been where they got the idea for the movie Deacons for Defense. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but Ossie Davis is in it, Forrest Whitaker is in it, and a few other notable actors are in that. Very good movie. It was kind of along the lines of this, where these guys were working. You know, I don't want to tell it, but if you have not seen that movie, go watch it. It's called Deacons for Defense. Pretty good movie.
Look, this is top 10, in my opinion, top 3 photo of all time. It's up there with the Malcolm X photo, you know, when he at the window. But just thinking about this photo and how hard it is, bro. Pause. Because this is in the 1960s. White folks, the KKK could kill you for doing nothing. So they had all the reason to kill you for holding these guns. Look, brother got the shotgun in his hand, pistol in his hip. Dude on the right got 2 of them. He's, come on, cold as fuck.
That just lets you know, like, these niggas was about business. They was not for play. They was like, look, we bout it. We got that dog in us. You know what I'm saying? You run up on us, yo, we're going to peel your muffin top back, whatever they say. You know what I'm saying?
Photo of all time. And then someone ended up quote tweeting and saying, and the leader in the middle is Robert F. Williams, a Marine Corps veteran who changed.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Hold up. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Hold up, y'all. Wait a second. Wait a second. South Carolina. Wait a second. I don't want to show my address. Hold up. Y'all can't read that because it's not focused. But my name is Robert F. Williams. My government name. That's my grandfather's name. And he was from South Carolina. What the? Yo. This is insane. Let me get back to the video.
The course of the civil rights movement and made an international impact beyond what MLK Jr. did. But he's erased from history because they don't want us knowing that violence can work. Just thinking back, y'all, I've never heard of these brothers. I've never even seen this photo until about a week ago. But brothers like him existed a lot during these times. We are only taught about the lynchings and us getting terrorized, but it was brothers that was standing up to this shit. And like he said in his tweet, they only push, you know, non-violent leaders like MLK, etc., because they want you to stay docile. And listen, I love MLK. I feel like he was needed. Like, we needed a side of non-violence, but also we needed the side like these brothers. And even the act of self-defense, that's not violence. That's just protecting yourself. So it's just sad that, you know, things like this would even be seen as violence. You want to know why this is, though, man? As black men, black people, we always have to be the bigger man. If someone does something to us, turn the other cheek and go about your business. No, we can never give the same energy back. Now, let's get back onto the brother Robert Williams, right? This is a photo of him and his wife. He made a book called Negro with Guns, where he was basically talking about how we need to stay strapped and protect ourselves, right? Bro, he literally had a whole shootout with the KKK, and it wasn't...
Well, that's not my grandfather, but the fact that he has our name, I wonder what his middle is, what his middle name is, because literally, that's my name. That's my father's name and my grandfather's name. I'm the third. My father's a junior and my grandfather is senior. But my grandfather was born, quick history lesson, my grandfather, who I got my name from, was born in Bamberg, South Carolina. Now, he is one of 11 kids. I said this in one of my other videos. And they left South Carolina when he was 2 years old and they moved to Queens. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he was raised, where he met my grandmother, where he had his 4 kids and, you know, so on and so on. So it's just funny to me how somebody who has our name, who was moving around in South Carolina like that, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
In none of the newspapers, people weren't covering it, and it was never taught in schools. Like, this is stuff that I feel like needs to be broad information, because guess what? He kept his life and he protected other people's lives. You know what I'm saying? All that turn the other cheek bullshit, it wouldn't have worked against the damn Klan. These folks were so evil. I want to tell y'all a story about a woman named Mary Turner. Her husband was lynched for a crime that he basically didn't do, right? And it was unfair justice. So she was angry about this, right? And she was not, I think, 8 or 9 months pregnant at the time. Her baby was about to be born. So she was mad. She was protesting like, y'all shouldn't have killed my husband. He's not gonna, like, my baby's not gonna have a father. Like, rightfully so, she's mad. So guess what they did to her, y'all? They lynched her and then cut her baby out while she was being lynched. I mean, like, some of the most barbaric, evil shit. It's no peaceful. You can't be peaceful with some of these people. Like, that's just devilish. That's devilish work.
Robert Franklin Williams. He was that one. Rest in peace to the ancestor. Now, Robert Williams was a major figure in the struggle for African-American civil rights movement in the United States. Now, he was born in Monroe, North Carolina in 1925. And as a young man, he left Monroe and he moved to Detroit. And that's where he worked in an auto assembly plant and he became active in the labor movement. Now, after serving in the U.S. Army and later in the U.S. Marine Corps, he returned to his hometown and was elected president of the local chapter of the NAACP. Now, Williams believed that black people should be able to defend themselves from violent attacks with violence if necessary. Now, calling it the Black Armed Guard, Williams recruited African-American military veterans for his memberships. Now, in 1957, they protected the house of Dr. Elbert E. Perry. Now, they was protecting him from an attack from armed members of the KKK. And they drove off the Klansmen after a brief shootout. Now, Williams' ideas on armed self-defense was explored in his 1962 book called Negroes with Guns, which proved highly influential on the views of Huey P. Newton, who was the co-founder of the Black Panther Party.
So he inspired the Black Panther Party. And like I say, a lot of us don't know about him. I'm young, so, you know, I didn't learn about him. A lot of y'all probably do, but this was new to me weeks prior. Crazy, right?
Party in 1966. At the same time, William utilized a variety of nonviolent methods, and this was to achieve various integration goals. Williams took an active role in publicizing the 1958 Monroe kissing case, and this is when 2 young black boys who were 7 and 9 had been kissed on the cheek by a young white girl. Boys was charged on convicted crimes of molesting the young white girl, and they sentenced them young boys to juvenile reform school. Now, the Committee to Combat Racial Injustice was organized to defend the children, and the chairman was Robert Williams, and they successfully pressured the governor Luther Hodges to basically give the boys a pardon the following year. Now, when the members of the nonviolent Freedom Riders movement arrived in Monroe in 1961, they received Williams' support. Tensions rose over the next few weeks as local white supremacists started to attack members of the Riders. So when a white couple from a neighboring town accidentally drove into a black neighborhood, they were surrounded by the local residents. And these residents was convinced that that car was the same vehicle that was seen with a violently racist message banner the day before. Now, Williams brings him into his own house for protection. So that couple was able to leave that town safely because of Williams. Now, with violence escalating in Monroe and being threatened by the chief of police with lynching, Williams and his family fled Monroe, in which they thought would be a temporary departure. He faced trumped up charges from the FBI that he was in flight to avoid arrest for having kidnapped that white couple. So to avoid prosecution, he fled the country, and he initially lived in exile in Cuba. Williams and his family left Cuba in 1965 and relocated to China. But in 1969, he returned to the United States to fight those charges. Now, he finally stood trial in North Carolina, and the charges against him was dropped. Now, he died in 1996 and was buried in Monroe, where he was eulogized at his funeral by Rosa Parks.
I'm going to put some links down below.
Hey, you know, that's truly, truly inspiring. Somebody who has my whole damn name, except my middle name is Fulton, not Franklin. But that's truly inspiring to see that somebody with my name was really out here getting active, you know what I'm saying, for the people. And, you know, he lived a full life, basically, because he died in the 90s. So he got to live a full life, got those charges dropped, lived in another country, other countries. And yeah, but this is the type of stuff that does not get talked about during Black History Month, at least in school. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, and more people will probably agree with me, if you went to school in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and I would even probably say even my parents, they mostly talked about MLK, Rosa Parks, and Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass. I'll throw him in there too. They didn't really talk about anybody else none of the inventors and stuff like that in Black history. So, yeah.
Descriptions of some great documentaries on this brother. His name gotta be mentioned more. You know, he gotta be up there with the MLKs, the Malcolm X's, the Fred Hamptons. Like, we gotta,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
because he inspired a lot of these brothers, man.
Well, you know, he would illustrate it this way. Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate. He was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate.
Yeah. Big shout out to Denzel Washington. He broke that quote down perfectly. That is the reason why in 2026, a lot of these white supremacists, white conservatives, they are scared because the white population is, you know, is going down. Now, the reason they fear this so much is because they feel like retaliation is going to come. Now that they're becoming the minority, they are scared that we are going to do those same things to them. We could care less, bro. We just want to live our lives, right? Now, I want to show y'all a video that I stumbled upon, and it's disturbing, but it's also very, like, it's highlighting, because when I tell y'all these stories of folks eating us and folks using our skin for, you know, different types of things, it's real.
Okay. So I decided to take this chair apart and redo it. Well, I knew it was old, but I didn't know how old it was until I got in, realized it had been put together with twine, burlap, and this. But then I noticed this black stuff that was used as padding. Can we please?
Yo, do y'all see that? That is hair. That is black people hair that was put in the padding of the chair to make it more comfortable. This is a chair that was passed down from her family. So when I tell y'all these stories of folks eating us and cooking us and using our, like, this stuff is real. Like, and it's probably things that we don't even know that were right. Of course, way worse. But this was a family chair that was passed down. You know, it was in her family. So her ancestors had some slaves, you know, probably did whatever they did with them and used a hair as a
It's human hair and cotton.
At one point in time in my life, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I really didn't want to learn about my history. When I was like 17, 18, 19, I stayed away from every slave movie. I didn't really want to hear it because I already knew if I heard a story, it was gonna make me mad. And like, it was like a response to just be like, okay, I don't want to hear it. But I'm at the age now where I want to know everything. No matter how mad it's gonna make me, I want to hear it. But look, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all check out the brother Robert F. Williams and the Beacons of Defense, man. He actually inspired the Black Panther Party. And if y'all want to see a video on one of the...
Oh, so he did speak on it, Deacons for Defense. Yeah, shout outs to him as well. Shout outs to us Robert F. Williamses that are out here really making happen, okay? Shout outs to us. Yeah, that was a pretty good video. I would say that problem with Black history a lot of times is that we usually tend to make slavery the only focal point when we are so much more than that. I would say since the dawn of the internet and just the information era, you now have the capability of being able to go and research this yourself. Now, are you going to get it in a public school or private school setting? Absolutely not, because they got to follow, you know, certain school criteria, and the education board is just not going to have that. So you got to do your own research, which shouldn't be that big of a deal considering most people doom scroll all day looking at nonsense. But y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think as far as violence being the answer to a lot of our problems. Because if you look at how places got conquered and how certain, you know, military defenses got taken down, it was due to violence. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all let me know. If you made it this far into the video, y'all know, like I always say, I appreciate y'all. I do appreciate y'all. We about to hit 200 subscribers. For all of those that did subscribe, like, I truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Y'all just don't know. We on the road to 1K, 5K, 10K, all that. So yeah, make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you like the video and make sure you comment. All right. It's your boy Robbie. I'm out.